What is going on, guys? Dranathor here, and welcome to a modded version of Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories. I didn't create this mod, it is created by someone called Blackalicious. I'll put a link down in the description, taking you to where you can download this, and also where it gives you all of the information. There are quite a few changes in the game. A lot of the cards have been changed, the fusions have also been changed because of that. There is a modification so that the enemy drops 15 cards at once. It just saves you having to do a lot of farming. They haven't done any changes to the storyline, it's still the same story. The biggest change, and in my opinion the best change, is the change to the AI. PS1 AIs aren't really the best. We've seen in my playthroughs of Forbidden Memories that you fuse something or play something face up and you pretty much just win. The AI in this will fuse no matter what, whether you've got something face up, whether you've got something face down, whether you've got a stronger card than they can physically fuse into, they will fuse. They will also play magic cards from their hand, whether they've got face up cards, whether they've got face down cards or not. And when they set cards, in the original Forbidden Memories, if it turned grey, it meant it was a spell. If it stayed open, it meant it was a trap. They don't do that in this. They just set a card and then end. So they could set a spell and not make it grey. You wouldn't know whether it's a trap or a spell card. Pretty much everyone in this runs things like Widespread Ruin and Raigeki, and they also have their own certain drop list of types that they drop, as well as their own certain sort of fusion lines. Rather than things randomly fusing, like a rock and a female making mystical sand, they do things like the one that I've just done a playthrough of, because I have played through this to get a little bit of knowledge. You do a fairy and a winged beast, which makes Dark Witch, with another winged beast to make Wing Weaver, to then have a fiend to make Shinato. So you have a certain fusion line. It's not like a fairy and a winged beast make Dark Witch, and then and Dark Witch and a fire makes something else. I'm going to open up a text document and speak you through everything here. So there are different card colours. Do apologise, the music's gone. I'll get it back. There are different card colours. So there's still white, there's yellow, orange, red, and then blue. Two, usually whites, make a yellow and a white make an orange and a white make a red. There are a couple exceptions to some of them, but that's pretty much the way that it goes. It is a line of fusions. So you can use, as I said, a fairy and a winged beast, white fairy, white winged beast, which will make Dark Witch, which is a yellow. Dark Witch and a white winged beast will make Wing Weaver, which is an orange. Wing Weaver and a fiend will make Shinato, which is a red. There is nothing after red. It does say about blue, and the example that it gives is Blue Eyes White Dragon. Instead of using a ritual, you have Blue Eyes Twin Burst. So two Blue Eyes make a Twin Burst, and the third Blue Eyes makes an ultimate. So if you do have a Blue Eyes Twin Burst and a normal Blue Eyes, you can fuse those two to make the ultimate. You don't have to fuse the cards in line. The other variant to it, and I'm going to use the fairies again because that is what I used in my last playthrough, a blue text fairy and a winged beast makes Guardian Iatos, which is a yellow. Guardian Iatos and a fiend makes Yubel, which is a red. There isn't an orange in between because you've used the blue. It sounds confusing, but once you get your head around how it works, it is nice and simple. There's one other bit that it says, some same types don't fuse. So a fairy and a fairy don't make Dark Witch. It has to be like a fairy and a winged beast. There's a couple exceptions, like it does with the Blue Eyes. There's also like the XYZs in here, so the X and Y makes XY, XY, and a Z makes XYZ. So, Time Wizard, just see it on the bottom. I'm going to have to make the music disappear again in a moment. Scroll down a little bit. Time Wizard is basically a fusion substitute, but it doesn't work for everything. The example that it gives, a dragon and a fiend makes Komori Dragon. Komori Dragon and Time Wizard make Red Eyes Black Dragon because Komori Dragon looks a little bit like Red Eyes. Can't fully remember how Komori Dragon goes into Red Eyes. I think it's a rock, but you can use Time Wizard as a substitute. Time Wizard doesn't substitute in the blue, so Blue Eyes White Dragon and a Time Wizard doesn't make Twin Burst, and Twin Burst and Time Wizard doesn't make Ultimate. Sounds a little bit confusing, and because of that I'm probably going to show like 1 or 2 of the free duels as well. Also, because of the 15 card mod, you beat someone once, they drop 15 cards. So if you S-Tech someone, you can potentially get like 3 of the same equip, all drop at the same time. You can have like 3 mountains drop, 3 yammies drop. I'm going to jump into a new game, duel Simon, and then probably show a free duel, just to have a little bit of a knowledge for myself as well. The last time I played through this, just also give me a bit of knowledge before I did a Let's Play, I did the fairy line, which is how I know the fairies and the winged beasts and the fiends work. I'm going to do a completely different one. I want to use spellcasters, because I know spellcasters and either Magician's Robe or Magician's Rod make Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl. I'm going to try and do it that way. I do have a Word document which I will open just to the side, which has a list of all the fusions that I know, but I think I'll make a new one that just does spellcasters and like fiends and things like that, just to try and find out. So, without further ado, let's jump right in. As always, we'll call myself Jira. The other side to this, I didn't fully go into it. I don't think any passwords work, or I haven't found any passwords that work. When I completed it, it gave me a code that I typed in. It didn't give me a card. I put it into Duelist of the Roses. It gave me a card. If you have watched my Duelist of the Roses Let's Play, when I mentioned that I had played a modded version and got given a code, can't remember the card it gave me, that is this mod that I played through. I played through the 2.6 version, which was like the one before the final. I don't know how much has changed from the 2.6 to this one. I know the drops have changed, like the A and S Tech drops. You actually get Megamorph a little bit earlier, because the whole game itself feels a little bit different. So as I said, the storyline hasn't changed. I'm just going to run away from Simon. I will go and save, because I'd rather just load rather than go through the entire beginning again. And I also want to use this deck. Let's format memory card, which means I can save. I'll have a look at the deck. If I do need to right in the beginning, I'm going to use the fusions that I know. You always get a Bright Castle, you always get Widespread, you always get Shadow Spell and Raigeki. Mainly because your opponent fuses, sometimes Raigeki's the only way around it. So I got quite a few dragons, a couple zombies, warriors, beasts, winged beasts, fairies, fiends, bugs. You always get Labyrinth Wall as well, just because it's a 3k that you can put down to delay. I haven't got any spellcasters, which is slightly frustrating, but it's a 15 card drop. So I beat Simon once, and I will get given 15 cards. As I said, the story hasn't changed at all. It's mainly the way that the game actually runs. Ooh, something stuck in my throat. So, since I've only played through this once, I don't really know who to farm either. And I discovered that, and I can't remember most of the fusions. So, I'll set my Raigeki, so I've got it as a complete backup. The AI also have slightly stronger cards and different ones that they play. So as I was saying from earlier, this is blue. So Hercules Beetle has a certain line that it fuses into. I'm going to try Ferrolimp and Kojikulki, because worst case I can just suicide my Kojikulki in. Archfiend Soldier, 2400. And as you can see, the text of Archfiend is yellow, so Archfiend Soldier plus something makes a little bit bigger, but it's not a case of having higher attack. So if I use a Fiend that has 2500 attack or more, it doesn't go into whatever Archfiend Soldier would go into. It is a particular fusion line. If you've played the original game, you know that Archfiend Soldier isn't a 2400. I think it's a 1900. The attack and defense are different in this game. I know this makes Victoria, which is a 2300. One other thing that I forgot to mention, you may have noticed it at the beginning, you may notice it now that I've mentioned it, the life points are over 8,000, you start on 9,999, because it's so easy to make a big monster in this, and especially when you get to the end of the game, you're playing like 3,800 just outright. Insect, that's a beast, let's try Beast and Fiend. Barrocks, which I think is a Fiend in this one as well. So yeah, if I use like Barrocks and something, it will make a different card than if I use the same card with Archfiend Soldier. Breaker. I should have just Raigeki because I would have won there. Explaining too much. I'm going to win next turn regardless. Unfortunately, Simon hasn't done it. So usually the opponents will just sort of fuse. Let's just try this. Blade Knight. Okay. The opponent will fuse. Oh, sugar. Even or if I had all of this face up, they will still just fuse. Or he could have flat out played Raigeki. Hopefully, some of the next opponents will do that. So the way that the 15 mod works is I got a Feral Imp for this one. If you move to the next screen and then move back, it shows you the next one. So I got an Exodia, Shining Angel, Key Mace, Goddess of Whim, Lord of Zamaya, Feral Imp again, Kurama, Honest, Contract with Exodia, Copycat, Wing Eagle, Crow Goblin, Midnight Fiend, Right Leg of the Forbidden One. I think that's right to the beginning. Yeah. So Simon, it seems, drops a lot of Fiends. I said the storyline is still the same. I'm going to pop down to the card shop and save before I go through the Egyptians. I'm also going to return to the title, just to show you how the mod for the drops works as well. It would always bring everything up here. So because 15 cards drop, the game shows you 15 cards new. So you can always tell which ones you have are new. I have no idea what this card does. At all. Probably fuses with a piece of Exodia. I'm not going to put in any of the spellcasters and things yet, because I don't have enough of them. Although one thing I may do is... Actually, no, let's put in... Just because it interests me what happens, we'll take out Hunter Spider, we'll take out Water Robotics, and put in Exodia the Forbidden One and Contract with Exodia. One thing that I forgot to mention as well, there is no sub-category for fusions, so in the original one, a female and a rock would make Mystical Sand. In this, it doesn't count it as female, it doesn't count it as... I can't remember which other ones there were, like secondary fusions. I never really used too many of them. So it doesn't make Mystical Sand because they have the specific fusion lines. So a female and a rock, I don't even know if it makes anything. I think it makes Gaia Kateno Megami. But yeah, as I mentioned in the last duel, your life points go up to 9,900. I think I said 9,999, so that's my bad. Let's go for Dragon and Kaiser Seahorse, just to see what happens. Nothing happens. Okay. But I've got a 1,700. I spoke about the AI being smart so much. Okay, it's because she can just kill me. I was hoping she would fuse. Fiend and Dragon make Komori Dragon, that was mentioned earlier. Which once again has had its stats boosted by about 700. It's usually a 50. I think it's a 1,500, 1,200? I don't have a Time Wizard. If I did, I could then make a Red Eyes. But I think it's Rock on top that makes a Red Eyes. The one disadvantage that you have is, in order to find out what fuses with what, you have to just risk it. So, by trying anything on Komori Dragon, if it doesn't work, it does just get rid of it. There's a slight glitch with this card, I've noticed. It shows actual Mother Grizzly here, but I think that's Fenrir, which is a spirit monster. I'm going to try Zombie and Beast. This doesn't count as a fire, so it's not going to make Flame Cerberus, because I don't think Flame Cerberus is in this game. Magic Gazet, which is a zombie. So I get the feeling like another beast would then make something else. It's usually the same one twice, and then something different for the ending. Once again, going back to how to get Shinato, it's Fairy, Winged Beast, another Winged Beast, and then a Fiend. Let's go for this. I think something like Metal Dragon's still in the game. I might be wrong. Horse. And then I think another machine makes level 6, and then something else makes level 8. One other thing, if that was on Teya's turn, I don't know if she would do it because of how much I have on the board, but later in the game it becomes a bit more prevalent. When they have a monster with the same attack as you, they just suicide it in. I'm interested. I think it is Gaia Katana Megami. And then a warrior on top of this makes Saint Joan. Another 15 cards from Teya. Didn't really see anything too worthwhile. Steel Shell's interesting, just in case I go down the Aqua route. But I think I'm going to go down the Spellcasters. I think it's like Spellcasters and Fiends. So if I've got a few Spellcasters and Fiends, I'm going to put them in. There's no changes to like the villagers and things, they're still the same people. They have the updated AI. Let's see. I don't really think the fish go into too much. So let's put in some Spellcasters. Did I have Fiends? Yeah, I got a couple of Fiends. So let's... I think it is Spellcaster and Fiend, but we will find out. We know this makes Komori Dragon, but I'm going to set the Raigeki. Little Swordsman Veil, which I think was a Aqua and a Warrior. You may have also noticed that was the... How am I trying to word this? OCG version of Enchanted Mermaid. I'm gonna Raigeki, because otherwise I would just suicide in, and I think I just make another one. He will probably make another one now. Or a Fortress Well. Okay, just gonna run that in. So yeah, there we go. I had a face-up card on the field. He's still fused because he could make something bigger. They also use the Guardian Stars as well. I don't think this... They definitely don't make anything. I don't think they do either. But let's try it. Oh, they do. Infernal Gainer. Mercury Moon. I don't think either one is gonna... I'm gonna leave this in attack, because if I put it in defense, he just plays something weak. Magic Gazet. He fused again, while I had something face up on the board. $23.50 is quite big. And I've used my Raigeki. I'm gonna get rid of Contract with Exodia, the Nidamoth, and the Shining Angel. Because I need to make something big and put the Bright Castle on it. Otherwise I lose. quite low on life points. 650, I think. She's a fairy as well. I know this makes Victoria. And then Bright Castle will make it a 28. Now, just because I've played Victoria as a 28 and I now have stronger cards doesn't mean I win. He could just Raigeki me. Okay, he didn't. Right. So now's the time to start getting back into the game. I think I just play the V Tiger Jet. Kill his magic guards it, and I'm going to kill the face down because I know that the Worm Drake is weaker. And that was even weaker. Could still get Raigeki'd. Okay. Let's kill the V Tiger Jet. I'm really, really low on life, so I need to go careful. Fiend. I can't remember if this makes anything. Let's find out. Metal Guardian. That's handy to know. That's very handy to know. I think I managed to turn this around, even with only 450 life points. I think this makes Great Moth. Yeah, as I said, there's a few of the fusions that I actually know, but I'm gonna try and steer away from the ones that I do know and go more towards the ones that I don't. So the spellcasters, I want to do a spellcaster playthrough of this. That's actually quite handy that I've got a spellcaster, because I can find out if spellcaster and beast make anything. They do not. Okay. So this guy defeated. The only thing that stood out there was the black pendant. Stall villager number 2. He dropped a lot of fire, rocks, machines. Yeah, the black pendant. I got a couple of fake traps as well, which is kind of annoying. But when it's dropping 15 cards at a time, I'm not going to complain too much. Piece of Exodia. A dragon. Play the widespread, because it just means that I get a free summon. See what he fuses. I think that was a beast and a dinosaur made Torike. Let's try Spellcaster and Dragon. Nope. Maybe using Spellcasters is a bit of a bad idea. I'm going to stick with it though. Great Moth. And there is a way you can make perfectly ultimate Great Moth. I haven't found it yet. And I don't want to try. I didn't want to try and put another winged beast on top of it, just in case it didn't work to make perfectly ultimate and it just got rid of my Great Moth. Fiend. Dragon and Fiend made Komori Dragon. So let's do that. I know that the Lamoon and Sky Scout make Dark Witch, which is a 2300. But I'm going to keep that just in case. A Fiend. think I'm going to set the Raigeki. Because then at very worst case, if he plays something to kill Great Moth, I can just Raigeki and play the Sky Scout and I win. Megami. He's going to kill the Komori Dragon. So I'm going to have to Raigeki. Beast. Let's just make the Dark Witch, because I know it works. And defeat villager number 2. Got a lot of dragons and thunders in there. Wonder if you can make twin-headed in this. So, villager number 3, who's usually the hardest one. Yeah, and a spellcaster, a Mahavela, that'd be handy. Hang on to the winged beast. Don't know if this makes anything. That thing is huge. Okay. Now, Stone Ogre Grotto was a blue, so I don't know if it's just Stone Ogre Grotto and a dragon that makes Stone Dragon. And this should, as far as I know, should be enough to get us through this final duel. Or I get Raigeki'd. It's an insect. Fiend and Beast. That didn't... Did that make anything? It did. Oh yeah, Barracks. Barracks. Skelgon, which was zombie and winged beast. It's a beast. Let's try zombie and beast. I knew it made that. I just keep forgetting. Unless he Raigekis me again, I should win next turn. Zombie and Beast, Magikar's it. Will he suicide it in there? No, okay. It makes sense, because then I could just attack him next turn. Let's... pure interest. Because the Mania bugged him. Doomdozer. Okay. That's Villager 3 defeated. He seemed to drop a bit of everything. A little bit of everything. Once again, because it's the same storyline, they talk about the festival going on in the plaza. While this cutscene's going on, I'm just going to press X every now and then, so if you do want to read it, you can. I noticed a bit of a recurring theme with Taya and the villagers, and Simon. They all seemed to drop a little bit of everything, but they all each had their own specific thing they dropped a bit more of. Taya dropped quite a few more fairies, Simon dropped quite a few more spellcasters and fiends. The third villager, he honestly seemed to drop just a bit of everything. The second villager, I think, dropped quite a few like rocks. That might have been the first. Villager 1 and 2 I'm not going to bother with. I think I'm going to duel Simon quite a few times to mainly get the spellcasters and the fiends. I'm also going to try and do some A&S techs while you can. It's a lot easier to A&S tech in this game than it is the original, mainly because your opponent fuses anyway, even if you've got stronger cards, so you can just make them deck out. It's not the fastest way of doing it, but if you can, you might as well do it towards the beginning. They drop spells and traps so much more often because they're dropping 15 cards at a time. You've got the disadvantage to when it drops one card at a time, that you could spend sort of 10 minutes doing an A&S tech and just get given a really crappy monster. Whereas in this, because you get 15, you're pretty much guaranteed to get about 5, sometimes 6 spell or traps. Sometimes you get really lucky and all 15. We'll duel this guy. All 15 are spell and traps. Fingers crossed, I get quite a few good things quite early. I don't want to just thunder through this as quick as I can, but there's certain difficulty steps. So the first step that we're on at the moment is all of the Egyptians. They're all on about the same, apart from Seto, he's a little bit harder. There's a big step when it goes to the World Tournament, when you fight Rex, Weevil, Mai, all of those. And then at the end, Seto is a massive step up. He's probably the hardest point in the game that I found when I played the 2.6. Might be slightly different in this. And then after that you go and fight the mages. They're kind of a small step up from Seto, they're all about the same. The hardest part of them is just fighting on their fields, so if you have some spellcasts to change the fields, they're nice and good. And then the final 6 is a massive step up with each one. So Seebeck and Neku are relatively okay. Haishin's a bit harder, Seto's a bit harder, Dark Knight's really hard, and Nightmare ridiculously hard. But that does do it for this episode. I'm going to save and go do a lot of free duels against Simon. I say a lot, I could do 3 and then I get given 45 cards. So, thank you guys for watching. I will update the deck in the next video and show you where I go from there. See you next time.